HOA Karens spray painted my Navy patrol boat. Got fined $200,000. My boat was my sanctuary, a 32-foot Navy patrol vessel that carried the weight of my service and the peace of my retirement until Karen decided it was her canvas. I came home to find eyesore scrawled in neon pink across its hull, her smug face daring me to react. By the time the cops hauled her away, she owed $200,000, but the real cost was the war she unleashed in our quiet lakeside community. I'm Tom Hargrove, a retired Navy chief, and I moved to Lakeview Estates for silence after 20 years of chaos at sea. The lake was my therapy, the boat my refuge. I named her Resolute, after the grit it took to survive storms and battles. Every morning, I'd take her out, the hum of the engine drowning out memories of deployments. The Homeowners Association, though, had other plans. Lakeview's HOA was a nest of busybodies, and Karen Mitchell was their queen bee, 50-something. With a peroxide bob and a clipboard she wielded like a scepter, Karen patrolled the neighborhood like it was her personal fiefdom. She'd fine you for a crooked mailbox or a blade of grass out of place. I kept my head down, polished, resolute to a shine, and figured I'd avoid her radar. I was wrong. It started with a letter. Your vessel's color violates HOA standards. It read, signed by Karen herself. Navy blue, apparently, was unapproved. I laughed it off. My boat was docked at a private marina, not her jurisdiction. I crumpled the letter and tossed it. Big mistake. A week later, I got another, this time threatening legal action. I called a buddy at the county office, who confirmed the HOA had no authority over the marina. I sent Karen a polite reply, citing the regulations, thinking that it ended. It didn't. Karen didn't like being told no. That Friday, I came home from a supply run to find Resolute defaced. Neon pink and yellow paint dripped across her hull, spelling out eyesore in jagged letters. A crowd of neighbors gawked from the marina's edge, whispering. Karen stood there, spray can in hand, her face a mask of righteous fury. This monstrosity ruins our aesthetic, she shrieked, gesturing at my boat like it was a junkyard wreck. My heart sank, not just for the paint, but for what Resolute meant every mission, every sacrifice now smeared with her petty vengeance. I clenched my fists, fighting the urge to lose it. Karen, I said, voice low, you just made the biggest mistake of your life. The cops arrived within 20 minutes. Karen, undeterred, ranted about community standards while they cuffed her. Vandalism on a registered vessel wasn't just a prank, it was a felony. The marina's security cameras caught every second of her spray paint rampage. I watched the footage later, Karen, sneaking down at dawn, shaking the can like a soldier prepping a grenade. The neighbors' whispers turned to gas when the police mentioned potential charges. Karen's smugness cracked, her eyes darting as reality hit. But I wasn't celebrating yet. This wasn't just about paint, it was about respect, or the lack of it. The next week was a blur. I filed a report, got estimates for repairs $15,000 minimum, and tried to scrub the paint myself. It wouldn't budge. Every stroke felt like erasing a piece of myself. Neighbors stopped by, some offering sympathy, others fishing for gossip. Karen's always been a tyrant, said Mrs. Delaney, the retired librarian who lived across the street. Last year, she fined me for my rose bushes being too red. I nodded, but my mind was on Resolute. I couldn't shake the image of Karen's smirk, like she'd won some moral victory. Then came the twist I didn't see coming. At the HOA's emergency meeting, where Karen was supposed to explain herself, a new face stepped up. Marcus, a quiet guy who'd moved in a month ago. He was young, maybe 30, with a limp and a service dog named Bravo. Nobody knew much about him, except that he kept to himself. I've got something to say, Marcus announced, his voice steady but heavy. He pulled out a USB drive and plugged it into the community center's projector. The room went silent as grainy footage played not of Karen, but of the marina, weeks before the vandalism. It showed Karen and two HOA board members inspecting Resolute at night, taking photos, whispering. Marcus's voice cut through. I'm a veteran too. Tom, I saw what she was planning. Set up my own camera after her first letter. The footage switched to audio Karen's voice, sharp and venomous, saying, "If he won't comply, we'll make him." Gasps filled the room. Marcus wasn't done. She tried to bully my sister out of her home in another HOA. I moved here to keep an eye on her kind. Karen's face drained of color. The crowd turned on her, murmurs growing to shouts. Marcus, limping to my side, added, "I've got your back." Chief, that revelation flipped everything. Karen wasn't just a nosy neighbor, she was a serial bully, weaponizing HOA rules to control people. Marcus's evidence gave the police more to work with: conspiracy, harassment, and targeted vandalism. The $200,000 fine came from the court, factoring in damages, legal fees, and punitive measures. Karen's husband, a quiet accountant, looked shell-shocked as he wrote the check. The HOA board, humiliated, issued a public apology and rewrote their bylaws to limit overreach. Resolute got a full restoration, paid for by Karen's fine, and I added a small plaque to her helm, "Honor over ego." But the victory felt hollow. Karen's act wasn't just about paint, it was about power, about tearing down what others held dear. I saw it in Marcus's eyes too. The way he gripped Bravo's leash, his own scars hidden but raw. We talked later over beers at the marina. He'd served in Afghanistan, lost half his leg to an IED. "HOAs like this," he said, "they're nothing compared to war, but they still make you feel small." I nodded. Resolute wasn't just a boat, it was a symbol of surviving, of standing firm. Karen tried to break that. She failed. The neighborhood changed after that. Some rallied around me, others around Karen, claiming she was just enforcing rules. Mrs. Delaney started a petition to disband the HOA entirely, and it gained traction. I didn't join, I just wanted to sail in peace. But late at night, staring at the lake, I wondered what makes someone like Karen tick. Was it control, fear, or just boredom? And why did it take a stranger like Marcus to tip the scales? I'm back on Resolute now, the lake stretching wide before me. The paint's gone, but the memory lingers. Karen's still here, quieter now, her clipboard retired. Marcus and I fish together sometimes, Bravo dozing on the deck. Life moves on, but the ripples of that day don't fade. I learned something about community, not the HOA kind, but the real kind, where people like Marcus step up, where respect outweighs rules. What do you think? Where's the line between enforcing standards and crossing into cruelty? Was Karen just misguided? Or was she flat out wrong? Share your thoughts. I'm curious.